The following program is presented by the HTM Podcast Network.
Welcome to another episode of Turnbuckle Talk, powered by thegorillaposition.com, and a proud part of the Roar Network. Presented by the Hitting the Marks Podcast Network. Now in association with ndpw.com. We are sponsored by collarandelbowbrand.com, where you can get 10% off when using promo code JKPodcast at the checkout. And in partnership with Phoenix at fnxfit.com, where you can get 15% off all your health supplements when using promo code TBTalkPod. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter by searching at TBTalkPod. Listen on Podbean, iTunes, Google Podcast, Castbox, Spotify and all those other podcatchers. And now, here are your hosts, Big Joe and Karl Karufel.
Big Joe, what's going on, my longtime friend?
Karl surprised me with the intro. We almost sounded. Did you hire Siri?
I almost. Just a free to use app that I had that I decided, hey, I'm gonna try this out this week and see how it goes. Don Lewis, our good friend and amazing supporter of the podcast, thank you for joining us. Here we go. Yeah, buddy, best part of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The week has come and gone in the world of professional wrestling, and as usual, before we get to our wrestling discussion, I guess just kind of a brief update, kind of what's been going on. Before we hopped on here today, I do see that for those who are not in Canada, specifically in Ontario, I saw that our Premier, Mr. Doug Ford, it looks like is moving Ontario into stage 3 of the coronavirus or COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it. So kind of a cool update there. We're heading in the right direction finally now, I guess. This is about the best way I can kind of put it.
Well, I mean, that's only for some areas. Not all areas are going into the stage 3 when it comes to this damn COVID-19. The district that I am in, at least, the Algoma district, is going to be moving into that stage on Friday, as well as Algoma Public Health for this area is now saying that masks are going to be required when entering businesses. Big Joe, on your end, what's going on with the stage 3? Are you included in that, your area?
It appears so. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to actually look into that. I mean, it's more or less kind of felt like we've been in stage 3 here anyways. For a good portion of time here, things have just kind of gone back to business as usual. Like I mentioned, when you go on the street, it pretty much feels like we're back to normal, except people are wearing masks. So, okay. That's pretty much how it's felt for a little while. And I guess just a couple other things I want to kind of make note of before we start our main show here today. For those who followed me on Facebook a little while ago, I guess it would have been sometime last week, I shared out. I had a little incident applying for a radio station a while back, and then there were some shenanigans going on. I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who kind of gave me who touched base with me and kind of made me feel a bit better. Specifically, a very surprising one, Mr. Stevie Richards, messaging me directly on Facebook and kind of reassuring me and nudging me in the right direction. So thank you to Stevie specifically there, and all those who reached out to me as well. And speaking of Stevie Richards, in talking about the Hami Media Group, over the last couple of days, they have crossed the 2 million download threshold over on the Hami Media Group. So congratulations to that group over there, and some great stuff, great content. I mean, those guys are just cranking out content. So shout out to all the hosts, all of the producers. I've done some producing work for them over there as well. So just it's they're a great group over there, and it's very cool to kind of be loosely kind of affiliated with them over there. So it's some cool stuff for them, and then it's helping out everybody. So it's congrats to
They're cranking
those guys.
out content almost daily over there. It is insane the amount that they go through and do over there. So for them to hit the 2 million, that is fantastic for them. That is hopes, dreams, and aspirations that we have as well. Speaking of that, Big Joe.
Yeah.
What do you think of maybe us doing a contest, so to speak, for our fans here? What do you think?
I'm up for that. I've actually already heard what this is, but I will let you take the floor here and let our listeners and viewers now, thankfully, let them know kind of what's going on with this. I'm excited about this one.
Awesome. So what we're going to plan on doing here is we just recently passed 280 fans on our Facebook page, which we are super excited about. We're looking 5 years going into this, and we have 280 fans. And I mean, that's for some, that's pretty small, but for us, that's a huge accomplishment, and we are super happy about that. But we want to get bigger, and we need your help to do that. What we want is we want to get to 500, just 500 to start. We're already over 280. Let's get to 500. You guys help us out with that. Share out the page. Invite your friends to come and like the Turnbuckle Talk page at TB Talk Pod on Facebook. Send us a private message with your name. I mean, it's obviously going to be there, but letting us know that you have shared out the page and that you have done your part to help us out. When we hit 500 people, we are going to come back on, do another live stream, and we are going to show everybody on screen using the share screen functionality with this amazing platform, StreamYard. And we're going to choose a name out of that. The winner of that, once we hit 500 likes and members in our page, they will receive an autographed Jake the Snake Roberts photo, an 8x10. Unfortunately, I don't have any certificate of authenticity for it, but I can tell you that I witnessed him signing it when he was here in Sault Ste. Marie. As well, you will get to be a guest host on an episode of Turnbuckle Talk. So there you go, people. Share out the page, get everybody to like it, and send us that message. Let us know that you've done your part. I'm going to keep a running tally. I'm going to keep a running note of everyone that has sent me a message to let me know that they've done their part. And I'm going to be checking to see if you shared it. Nice. Because I can see, which is awesome. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be keeping a tally of everyone. And when we hit 500 people that have liked the page, we are going to do that draw for the Jake the Snake Roberts autograph, as well as let you come on and be a guest host for the show. Big Joe, what do you think about that?
That's extremely cool, man. I think that's a great incentive to our listeners and for our viewers now. And yeah, you get a chance to be part of the show. And yeah, the Jake the Snake Roberts autograph picture, that's pretty sweet. I believe I still have one or two here in the studio here somewhere. And yeah, I can definitely vouch that those are completely 100% legit because I was there in person as well. So those are the real deal, folks.
That's right. Big Joe, what have we got on the docket today?
First topic we've got here, dealing with some WWE stuff. We're talking new U.S. title belt. That's right. I'm calling it a belt. For those of you who get offended by hearing the word wrestling belt, I really don't care. They are wrestling belts. I continue to call them belts. Yeah, that is the new WWE United States Championship belt here, Karl. What do you think about this sucker?
Honestly, I'm not that mad at it. I'm actually kind of digging this championship belt, championship title, whatever you want to call it. I'm honestly really digging this right now. Nice. The only thing that I think I would have liked to have seen with this is up at the top there.
Yep.
Up at the top, right up there where all the stars are.
Yep.
Maybe added in some blue in there. So at the bottom, you got the red and the white ripple going in behind the eagle there, but maybe adding some blue up at the top. I think would have really made it stand out a little bit more. Now, I do understand that the word champion, the big champion on it, is in blue, but it kind of loses a little bit because of the gold bordering and stuff like that, and then the silver in behind. So, I mean, we're looking at dual-plated gold and silver championship. But I'm digging it. I mean, it looks as though it's at least 8 millimeters thick, this belt. Just like Fandu championship belts, they do 8 millimeter thick belts. I've got 2 of their championships, and I dig the 8 millimeter, and this looks like that's what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a thick-looking belt for sure. For me, when it comes to this belt, it's not so much an issue with the actual belt per se. My issue, it may sound a little strange to people, but I think it'll start to make sense when I start to talk about this here, is that it kind of outshines the other championships here, Karl, the other belts. I mean, it arguably looks better than the main championships, and it's strange because this is supposed to be quote unquote one of the mid-card championship title belts, and it arguably looks more shiny, more attractive than the main championship. And that could be almost kind of be said for the just the philosophy behind the championship itself, because typically this and the Intercontinental Championship or Continental Belt, however you want to word it, is supposed to be the stepping stone. This is where you prove your worth and your skill as a talent to be able to take it to the next level to then win the world or the main championship or what have you. But as of late, it feels like a step down, because typically what will happen is a talent will win that main title first and then sometimes win the Intercontinental or the U.S. title afterwards, making it feel like a step down or an afterthought. I have more issue with that and that philosophy than the actual physical title itself.
All the way across the entire city, I can already hear Don Lewis typing away. Don, you had, I'll put it back up here again. Yep. Don has a little bit of a different opinion here. He says that he thinks that they dropped the ball on this one. I'm sure he's already typing away with an explanation. When you get that, put it up there, send it to us, and we're going to put that on screen, Don. I want to hear from you a little bit what you think on this. But Big Joe, I am definitely in agreement with you when it comes to how flashy the title is itself. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I like it is that it looks flashy. It's not just this big W that's in the center of a championship or the center of a belt or whatever. I like that the WWE logo is just kind of small up at the top, and they got this nice eagle that's spread across the championship, and then the word champion itself in big letters. You look at like the World Heavyweight and Universal Championship, and they're tiny little letters down at the bottom that say World Heavyweight and Universal Champion. It's unbelievable that I don't know how to say this, but like the WWE thinking that they're the only thing that matters and that their logo is the only thing that matters. It's not. No, that's not what matters. What matters is that word champion or championship is the wording that matters in this, not your stupid logo. Right?
I've become more and more okay with this actual physical belt the more I've kind of looked at it. My initial opinion wasn't very favorable, but yeah, like I said, my issue is more with the philosophy behind the championship itself. You can tell that, I mean, obviously, the focus here is the U.S. pride here in this in this championship. It makes me curious too. I mean, if they were ever going to come up with a Canadian championship, what it would be down there would be like a beaver holding a hockey stick. Would that be what they have on there? Right. So
like that seems like the mentality that they have.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, the bald eagle is an iconic symbol when it comes to our friends down in the U.S. of A. But yeah, Don's saying, I feel the same way as it goes. It's too pretty, and it overshadows the main belts that are not flashy. Yep, he seems to kind of share our sentiments on that.
Yes.
All right, so next up here, Karl, we have what I think is going to be kind of a strange one here, at least in my in my brain here. We're going to be doing a match at Extreme Rules involving Mr. Seth Rollins and Mr. Rey Mysterio. And it's being coined as a eye for an eye match. What are your initial thoughts about what they are looking to do here?
What? How? That's my initial thought. How? How are they going to do this?
I have the how, or at least theoretically the how.
Yes, I've seen some stuff too about theoretically how they're going to do this. But what have you heard?
Well, to give them a bit of a brief shout out again here, earlier this morning, I guess it would have been kind of like mid-morning or before noon, listening to the Monday Locker Room over in the Humming Media Group with Mr. Ben Humming, Ted McNaylor, and our friend Mr. Rick Vickery, and they were talking about this. And essentially what the plan is here, this is going to be obviously a pre-taped segment / show, and the idea here for the eye for an eye is that it's going to be a combination of some CGI and some Hollywood production value here, because they really want to make it look like somebody is going to actually get their eye ripped out. The problem here, Karl, with that, to have some believability, is that one of these two guys is going to have to go the rest of their career with one of their eyes covered. Otherwise, what are you doing?
Well, I think what it's going to come down to is that Rey Mysterio is going to lose this match, and he's going to quote unquote lose an eye. Yeah. And then all he's going to be doing after that is he's not going to wrestle anymore, but he's just going to manage Dominic. And managing somebody with an eye or having an eye patch on, okay, no big deal, right? Mm-hmm. But like to get inside the ring and work with an eye patch, sometimes a little bit of a different story here, right? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's how things are going to go. We're going to see Rey Mysterio lose this and CGI lose an eye, and then just have to wear a patch while he's got his face mask or his lucha mask on and an eye patch. Or maybe they'll just, as he's done before, cover up just that one side with something that is enough see-through for him, but not for anyone else looking at it, type of thing, right? You could always do that as well.
Yeah, it's a strange one because, I mean, no matter which way you kind of go about this, I mean, you've kind of screwed yourself. Going with this eye for an eye stipulation, it's kind of a lose-lose scenario. With Seth, I mean, if you have him lose, like I said, he's like, how are you? He's going to have to wrestle the rest of his career in WWE with an eye patch on, and with his kind of move set, I mean, that loss in depth perception of having one eye covered is going to cause a lot of problems. With Rey, he's essentially on a handshake agreement with WWE. Now, if he were to go somewhere else at Impact or whatnot, fans are going to be like, what the hell is going on? There's your eye, right? So it's... The only, and this is going to sound completely ridiculous, but I'll bring it up anyways, and I'll give these guys one more shout out. The only other way I can see getting around this, as per Mr. Ted McNaylor, former OVW talent, fantastic, you can go see his work on YouTube, is what they could do is, since Rey Mysterio has his name printed on his pants, they could remove the eye out of his name on his pants, and then theoretically then you could say somebody lost an eye.
Oh my word.
Right, so you can go the pun direction if you want to be ridiculous, which I mean Vince would be pissing himself laughing probably on that one,
right?
So to me that's the only way that you get out of that. That's the only way I can think of that you get out of that is you go stupid, right?
I mean, you could go this way as well. I mean, Dawn says, like Dominic's going to save Rey from losing an eye, and then that's when Dominic is going to ask him to manage him so that he doesn't get hurt anymore. What if Rey Mysterio does win this match, and then through contact lenses, one contact lens in the eye that makes it look as though Seth Rollins has a glass eye, right? Yeah. Maybe that's about the only other way that I could see that is, possibly making it look like Seth Rollins has a glass eye now, and he's gone for 2 weeks and then comes back with a glass eye. I don't know.
I just don't like this all the way around. I mean, just it's, I don't know. I'm not. If they go the CGI route, and if it's not done properly, it's just gonna look dumb.
right?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Going from the ridiculous in wrestling here, Karl, to something a little bit more realistic in wrestling. We're talking some New Japan and some New Japan Cup. So basically this whole tournament is wrapped up and things have ramped up continuing on here. So first of all, the final for the New Japan Cup happened. Evil defeating Okada for the New Japan Cup.
Yes.
I did not see that result going into this. You know, when we first saw the brackets and we're breaking this down, I did not anticipate that result.
Before you go any further,
Yeah.
okay, just bear with me for a second.
Sure.
Here, okay? Well,
There we go.
Big Joe decides to tell me that there's no audio coming through on that. So let me fix this just for a second here. I don't know why I had selected to share audio as well.
It came through briefly and then it went away.
Okay, let me try this again. Let me see.
I was waiting to see if it was going to come through. One of the benefits of doing stuff here live, folks, things can be unpredictable. We'll see if we can get it here this time.
So let's see if this works this time. I do have it set so that it will share audio, it tells me. So let's take a look and see.
Still just the visual on it.
Well, I don't know what's going on there, people. So I am sorry about that.
It happens.
I'm getting the audio come through on my headset here, which, I mean, that kind of sucks here.
It is what it is. But yeah, Evil defeating Okada to win the New Japan Cup here, Karl. That was, again, not the result that I had anticipated going into this. I mean, I saw one half of that going into that final, but I sure didn't see Evil get into that final. And on top of that, didn't see him beating Okada and seeing him win the New Japan Cup and seeing him join Bullet Club. So, I mean, wow. I mean, they did a lot of stuff. They're really pushing this guy here, Karl. I did not see this coming.
You know what? I really didn't either. This was totally way out of left field, which, you know what, I'm okay with. This was fantastic all around the entire New Japan Cup. And now, you know, coming down to this, I mean, just a fantastic final match. And then like to see that turn at the end. Wow. Like I'm blown away by the entire thing that's really happened here.
But wait, there's more going around this because New Japan Cup finished and in New Japan Cup style, typically around this time, it would have been New Year's Dash, which ended up being New Japan Cup this year, and then followed the next night by Dominion, which is one of their big shows. So Dominion happened. Again, we had, this final thing you noticed, if you're watching that video, that there were fans in the audience, a significant number of fans actually, and they were there for Dominion as well. But at the end of the New Japan Cup there, when Evil won, Naito came out and spoke to him in Japanese, so I didn't really get the gist of what he was saying, but kind of put his fist up, and then Evil went to go put his fist up and then changed it to the too sweet and basically took Naito out. So, yep, he ended up challenging Naito for Dominion, and then Evil ended up winning that match. So because Naito was the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, it was winner takes all. So Evil is now New Japan Pro Wrestling's very first triple champion. He is the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the Intercontinental Champion, and the Never Open Six-Man Tag Champion. This guy is draped in gold. They have decided to push Evil all the way to the top. I did not see this coming at all here, Karl, and they are really putting some weight behind this guy. Interesting to see.
They definitely are. Now, I know that our fan and friend here, Don Lewis, was enjoying that matchup. I've done a little something here. I'm going to try this one more time, and I guarantee you this will work, okay?
All right.
Well, that one we can't use for copyright reasons. My goodness. We are just batting 1,000 today. This is not working out. You know what I will do is I will get it and I will put it onto our Facebook page for everybody because like honestly, this was just super fantastic to see everything that really happened and went down. I mean, it was just bloody fantastic. I was super impressed with it all.
Yep.
Yeah, and now I mean, like, Evil, really, like, never would I have thought that Evil would be the first ever to hold 3 championships.
Yep.
Wow.
Really something. And again, just briefly for our listeners and viewers who are maybe mainly WWE watchers, if you are interested in diving into New Japan Pro Wrestling, I would say mainly hit myself up, message me on Facebook, and I can kind of steer you in the right direction to subscribe for New Japan World. It's not difficult. Their page is a little outdated, I will say, but it is pretty easy to figure out once you get the hang of it. And there's just a ton of content there, all the current stuff, and then you can go all the way back as well. So yeah, if you're interested in New Japan Pro Wrestling, hit me up, and I can help you guys sign up for that network. All right, Karl, next up we have some AEW stuff to cover here, and this is one that I'm sure probably have you a little hot around the collar here, but Mr. Chris Jericho saying that his match with Orange Cassidy at Fyter Fest was one of the best matches that he's had in the last 30 years. What is your take on this? Did you watch this match, and what did you think?
I did watch this match, and I think that Jericho is just doing what Jericho does, and he is trying to build. That's all he's doing. I don't think that he legitimately, I don't think that was his best match in 30 years. I don't believe that. I believe what he's doing is he's trying to give a push to Orange Cassidy right now.
I can see that approach. Watching the match, though, and just watching Jericho's mannerisms and his attitude in the ring, I could tell that he was having a blast in there. And for those...
That's right. I could say maybe it was his most fun match in the last 30 years, but his best...
And for those who like to hate or to overly criticize Orange Cassidy, this is a match I would definitely steer you to go and watch, because, I mean... he looked pretty damn good in there, Karl. Now, did he look like he was going to be a legitimate threat to beat Chris Jericho in this match? I would say probably not. But I mean, Chris Jericho made him look really good, and Cassidy sold his ass off for Jericho as well. I mean, I thought this was a really well executed match. I mean, when it comes to how a professional wrestling match is built and how it kind of plays out, I mean, this is kind of 101 when it comes to this. And I thought that they both did fantastic. And I think it just shows that for people who think that Orange Cassidy can't wrestle, I mean, obviously that's not the case here, Karl. The dude can work.
That's the difference right now,
right?
Is that in this matchup, Orange Cassidy worked. He didn't just do this entire stupid gimmick of hands in the pocket and, very slow and sluggishly moving around. And he worked, he wrestled. And I think that is exactly the reason why. I've never been a huge Orange Cassidy fan, but I enjoyed this matchup because he was working and not just doing all the stupid gimmicky crap.
And I think that's the key to actually making his character work, is that, he can do that comedy shtick for a good portion of the time, and then it's like, okay, somebody needs to kind of lay a fire under his ass, and then then the wrestler Orange Cassidy kind of comes out, because I mean this guy is legitimately trained. He actually has a lucha libre kind of background. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's been interesting because a lot of people have kind of quote unquote hopped in the bandwagon with this guy. Now they're like, oh, Orange Cassidy's really good. I'm like, I've been putting this guy over for quite a while. I'm like, just wait, just give the guy a chance. I mean, he can clearly work when he wants to. And for those hating and saying that he can't wrestle, period, I'm gonna say those people are incorrect.
I mean, like I've said, I'm not a huge fan of Orange Cassidy, but I mean, I'm not going to go as far as saying that the kid can't wrestle, that the kid can't work, because he definitely can. He did show that in this matchup with Chris Jericho. He can work. He definitely can. Maybe calm down on a little, but you're right. I mean, going with the comedy sometimes, and then going with the legitimacy of professional wrestling. He can work both, and it's nice to see that in a big caliber type of matchup like at Fyter Fest or any other pay-per-view that they decide to have. I know that this wasn't a pay-per-view, but any type of big match type of environment, he can work and put the effort out, which I'm happy about. So
you had just mentioned something up. I'll bring up as a side topic here, since we do have time. We're clipping along pretty good on this episode here as our topics. Your thoughts on Fyter Fest and then coming up soon as well, Fight for the Fallen. I mean, typically these would be, like you had mentioned, pay-per-view type things. These are happening on television for free. I think this is a great move by AEW.
I think it's a fantastic move.
Yeah.
What better way to build your business?
Yeah. I mean, I really don't think that right now they're in a position to be charging their fans for pay-per-view. So I think that this was a smart move business-wise to make this available. Because, I mean, a lot of people, I know myself included, that this is already something that we have to pay for extra on our cable package. So, we're already paying a bit of a premium as it is. So I'm not sure exactly how that works down in the U.S. market. But, yeah, I think this is a great thing, essentially making these episodes of Dynamite. I've been digging it.
Yeah, me too. I honestly have been. This has been fantastic. I mean, your big caliber matchups, your big shows that are supposed to be on pay-per-view, you're giving them to the people for free. That's the best way in my books right now to do it, especially to continue to get the company over as fully legitimate, because they're going to see, wow, that was pay-per-view quality that they gave us for free. Okay, so in a year's time, when they're offering pay-per-views for people to buy, they're going to be like, well, if they gave us that type of a pay-per-view show on cable television, I have to buy now, because what are they going to pull out, right?
For sure. And it even looks like the most recent comment here, it looks like, we've gained another Orange Cassidy fan in Don Lewis. There you go. That's a win.
That's a big win.
All right, here, Karl, another one coming up next here that I know is going to make steam coming out of your ears, since you're a fan of the original, I guess, possibly. We're talking, is Matt Riddle the next Shawn Michaels? That's the way I have the topic written here. Is Mr. Matt Riddle the next Shawn Michaels? What do you think?
What? Are you kidding me right now?
Right.
Seriously? Is that like seriously?
Yep.
Seriously.
That's legitimately how Vince feels about Mr. Matthew Riddle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, as you can see right there, photo of Matt Riddle, photo of Shawn Michaels side by side.
Beyond physically.
Vince McMahon says Riddle is the next Michaels.
Yeah.
I would have to disagree. No, he's not.
What about attitude-wise? I mean, looks-wise? I mean, it's hard to make a comparison. How about attitude and, like character work?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Character work? No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Yeah. Attitude-wise? Okay, so from some of the stuff that I've been hearing and seeing from the boys in the back, attitude-wise, as a person, attitude, yeah. From when Shawn Michaels was that age, back in his prime, doing the work, to Matt Riddle nowadays in the backstage doing the work. If you were to compare the two of them at their ages or at their prime or whatever you want to call it, they share the same attitude, right? Yeah. But and not a good attitude either. But anything else? No. I do not see any comparison at all when it comes to that.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat as you when it comes to that. Looks wise, obviously there's definitely no similarity. And character wise, I mean, they're completely different characters. Attitude wise is where I do think I see the similarity. As I stated before, though, to be successful in this business and a lot of times kind of in any kind of business, if you really want to get up to that next tier, sometimes you got to be a bit of a dick.
Sometimes
you got to be a bit of a dick. And
but today, do you think that that's really going to work, or do you think you're going to get a bunch of these younger talent that could quote unquote possibly be snowflakes?
Yep.
And really cause some controversy to happen that just then kind of pushes Matt Riddle out the door.
I think it's going to have the opposite effect. I think this is going to make him stand up from the crowd. He's going to be the guy that, hey, I'm the no BS character. I'm not the easily offended type. I'm here to be a successful person in not just professional wrestling, in specifically here in WWE. I'm here to make noise. I'm here to be successful. If you don't like it, too friggin' bad. He's there to do what he's done. He's in my opinion, he's one of the guys that's made a successful transition from MMA to professional wrestling. He makes it believable. There's some that Shayna Baszler that don't make it look believable. Ronda Rousey's another one that doesn't make it believable. There's some other examples I could think of. Tom Lawler is another good recent example. A guy that's transitioned from MMA over to professional wrestling, has done it very successful. He looks believable in that ring. And of course, the big standout one is Mr. Brock Lesnar, probably one of the best that can just bounce back and forth at will and be successful and be top level either or. So I mean, I think that's the ceiling is unlimited for Matt Riddle in not just in WWE, but I think in professional wrestling. And I think that his attitude and his persona and whatnot, I think is going to really make him, and is already making him kind of stand out. Now, just to make brief mention too, because I know a lot of people are probably thinking about it and just not seeing it. These allegations with him and this woman that was supposedly, he's basically admitted to having an affair, but at the same time, he is denying any kind of wrongdoing. And I mean, clearly, I'm inclined to believe him. It seems like he does kind of like have a stalker on his hands, and that's kind of unfortunate, but hopefully that'll get under control, and this guy can kind of just focus on being a top-notch professional wrestler, which I think that he is definitely on his way to. I mean, and another reason why I have some respect for him as a pro wrestler is he came up and he worked. He did it the hard way here, Karl. He wrestled for a lot of independent promotions and worked his way up. This wasn't just handed to him. He had to work for it. And that's why I do have some respect for Mr. Matthew Riddle.
Well, there you go. I share different sentiments, but here we go. King Mo in MLW now. It's laughable so bad. Yeah, you know what?
Some of it just doesn't work. So
that's just another one coming from from a different world into the world of professional wrestling, and just not being able to hack it. Maybe he needs to go back and train a little bit more, do something right. But yeah, I mean, again, another one, King Mo, MLW. So totally, yeah.
All right, Karl, for our next one here. So
before we get to the next one, I know what the next one is. I got the run here. I think maybe we should take a quick commercial break here, and then we'll come back in for the last, or it's going to be a listener question that we have that we're starting to do a little bit more because we're getting more of them. So we're going to do our listener question, our match of the week, and then to our showstopper segment.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Wrestling, a love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand, the wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Dictionary defines hero as a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Being a hero in life is far more than words printed on a page. It takes an unwavering code, a compass that points true north, always. And in times like these, it takes sacrifice. Hero shouldn't be a word defined by a dictionary. It's a word that should be defined by the best of us. Hero has a new definition.
And there we go, guys. Welcome back after our brief little commercial break. One from our sponsors over at collarandelbowbrand.com. Again, go and check them out. You want 10% off your entire order. Use promo code JKPodcast. And just a shout out to our newest associate and sponsor here, Phoenix. fnxfit.com. Looking for health and workout supplements, go and check them out. You want 15% off, use promo code TBTalkPod. And then our second little commercial there, we saw something that Joe has actually been a part of, Diamond Paranormal Investigations. They are going to be, I believe, weekly doing a video podcast. And that was just a little commercial for Diamond Paranormal, a paranormal research company that is starting up here locally in Sault Ste. Marie. So wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out too.
There you go. All right, Karl, for our listener question here, this is kind of an interesting one here because, not just your typical wrestling fan or your fan that's like in the bubble that we like to kind of say, that knows a lot about professional wrestling. There are other people who are interested in Turnbuckle Talk as well, when it comes to casual fans and people who are not necessarily non-fans, but just kind of occasionally see the odd match kind of here and there. This question, I think, is definitely for the latter, because it may seem like kind of a silly question, but I think it's still worth bringing up to kind of educate some people that are new to professional wrestling, because not everybody is a lifelong fan and been watching this for a long time. There are some new people that are looking to kind of gain some understanding about this, and I think this definitely falls into that category. And we were talking, is blood in professional wrestling real? And I guess the simplest way to kind of say it initially here, the blood itself, is it real? Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So as you guys can see right over there, okay, I've got a little design that I had done up here, blood in pro wrestling. You can see there is the top row there. Yep. Dustin Rhodes and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then Cody Rhodes. And in the bottom row, we've got Chris Jericho, we've got Ric Flair, and we've got the legendary Undertaker. Yeah. Two of those photos, you can see Cody and Chris Jericho. They are stitched up.
Yeah, big time.
Okay. So meaning what happened? They got cut open, and when you get cut open, what's going to happen? You are going to bleed.
You definitely are. There are two ways for blood to happen in professional wrestling here, Karl. Yes. And the simplest way to kind of word it is you can bleed the easy way or you can bleed the hard way. I'll let you discuss the easy way and I'll discuss the hard way. What is the way to bleed the easy way in professional wrestling, Karl?
Well, are you talking the self way?
That would be the easy way. That would be the easy way.
Okay, so I gotta laugh here and put this up.
Yeah.
He almost made the graphic.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, he didn't make the
actually
cut
there. I think possibly. Let me see here. Nope, he didn't. No, he didn't. I got a little bit more down there.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan made the
Hogan as well.
That's a bunch of crap.
But I mean, the easy way is called juicing.
Yeah.
That's what they call it in the business, is juicing. So essentially, you'll notice a lot of the guys wear tape around their wrists, and the easy way is taking a razor blade and breaking off just a corner of the razor blade and taping it across. Yeah, Don, we are. We are. That's what we do here on Turnbuckle Talk. We keep it real for everyone.
Absolutely.
But that's one of the ways that they do it. They literally just take the razor blade, and then when it comes time, you'll notice that they get hit or they're down on the mat, and then the camera pans away, but they actually take that little razor blade out, and then they'll make a cut, like up here, usually right at the hairline, or they'll take like in the folds, like if you raise up your, like, open up your eyes real big, you got those like folds, those lines that are there, a little slice inside that line as well. And I even know some people that have even done it just over the eyebrow, because it's a little bit of a meatier part there, right? So you do it just over the eyebrow, not under the eyebrow, because that's too close to your damn eye. Just over your eyebrow, and that can get the same effect. So that there, ladies and gentlemen, is a little bit of trade secret, and that is the easy way to do it. Big Joe, take it away with the hard way.
The hard way is kind of what you would think, and some newer people probably aren't expecting this. So the hard way to bleed is just that. It's getting cut open for real. Looking at the graphic here, you won't see this if you're listening on audio, but for our video listeners here, I would say Cody, Jericho, and Sheamus. Those are examples of getting cut open the hard way. Those are just legitimately getting cut open, whether it be by accident or whether it be planned sometimes. Those are legitimate cuts that are pretty gruesome sometimes, especially looking at Cody and Sheamus there. Sheamus, I think especially, that one was a pretty deep and gruesome cut. Another good example, going back a few plus years, would have been Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton. That was an example of Randy getting cut the hard way with a legitimate elbow to the head there. So, that's about the best way that we can kind of explain it. In both ways, the blood is definitely 100% real. You know, it's not ketchup packets or blood packs. I think that there have been rare cases where something like that may have been used. But I mean, in your traditional sense, when it comes to bleeding in pro wrestling, it's the wrestler's blood. I mean, it's a hard thing to fake. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely it is. It's a very hard thing to fake.
So a good question there from one of our newer listeners slash viewers. So you got a little bit of education when it comes to bleeding and wrestling, and Mikey O was saying catching a Lesnar elbow. Yeah, absolutely. I just made reference to that. All right, man. Next up here, we have our match of the week segment. And I think you've typically been kind of going first on these. So
I have been. So you go first.
I'll go first this week. And my match of the week, you would think would be coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling, because I've been watching a lot of that lately. But that is actually not the case this week. I'm going to go outside of New Japan for my pick this week. And I'm going to go to AEW. And I'm going to actually reference an earlier topic when it comes to my pick here. My match of the week is actually the main event from day 2 of Firefest AEW. We're talking Mr. Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. I enjoyed the hell out of this match. I thought both guys did fantastic. This was a great... just the way that the match was executed, it played out like a match in that scenario should play out, and both guys looked fantastic. Cassidy actually worked in that match, sold his ass off for Jericho, and vice versa. Chris Jericho, definitely sold his ass off for Orange Cassidy. But I mean, it was still just the way that they pulled it off was very good, because I mean, it was still a dominant Chris Jericho victory, but. I don't know how to kind of put into words. It was executed well. I think the key person in this is Jericho, and he really kind of pushed Cassidy to work in this match, but still he looked like the overpowering victor in this match. It just the way that they pulled it off was very impressive, and you could tell that both guys were having fun in there, a little insider their peak as well. But you could tell that they were both digging that match, and I guarantee you that. Orange got a little attaboy from Mr. Chris Jericho on that, because we had mentioned Chris claims that this is one of the best matches he had in the last 3 decades, which is saying quite a bit given his resume and the matches that he's done. So.
Exactly. Definitely.
So there you go. That's my pick.
I agree. I definitely agree. That is a fantastic match of the week.
Yep.
Mine is not coming from AEW as mine usually do. Mine is actually coming from Impact Wrestling. Believe it or not, right? Mind blown. Mind blown.
What you got?
Sami Callihan and Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
From the North. So we're looking coming up at Slammiversary. We're going to have Josh Alexander and Ethan Page putting the tag team championships on the line against Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. So we're looking, and they've been, kind of doing back and forth stuff like this. And this week we had Sami Callihan going up against Josh Alexander. So a little preview to the Slammiversary event. So I have to say that I'm not a fan of this thumbs up, thumbs down thing that Sami Callihan does. I'm not. It's old. It's been done.
Yeah.
The WWE did it with, Triple H and Batista and Randy Orton and all of this stuff. It's just been overworked. I'm not a fan of that. But Sami Callihan and the work he does in the ring is fantastic. This whole thing that he's been doing with like a cell phone or whatever it is, and like he pushes something on it, the lights go dark and he's there, and he pushes it again after the match and then he's gone. 100%. Like, that is freaking cool. I'm loving that. Sammy is so money, says Mikey O. Yeah, I agree. He definitely is.
Yep.
I'm just not a fan of this whole thumbs up, thumbs down thing. I mean, I haven't been. Whatever. I can look past that to see the actual work that this guy is doing inside that ring. And this matchup that he had with Josh Alexander was just fantastic. I can't say enough about this. Like, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's out there on YouTube or something. Go and find it.
Yeah, Sammy, definitely a great example of a tremendous ball drop with his time in WWE. A guy that, obviously had all the talent and all the potential in the world, and just not seen by the big company while he was there. And actually, that brings up just a brief piece of breaking news. I guess that is worth bringing up. Most of it is not really noteworthy or kind of what we like to talk about. A lot of it is dirt sheet oriented this week. But one that I do want to bring up is that Mr. Vince McMahon reportedly has a lot of buyer's remorse when it comes to recent talent, which is kind of interesting. And the talents specifically being named here are Luke Gallows, Karl Anderson, and Mr. Mike Bennett. I mean, the Gallows is kind of an odd one because, I mean, he worked for the company before, and we had mentioned before that when he came back the second time, Vince had actually forgotten who he was. Right. So that in itself kind of makes me wonder about that process. Like, I mean, are they not aware of kind of what's going on when they're signing or re-signing these people? Like, are they really seriously losing track of who's who? Like, and I mean, and it always makes me scratch my head when you bring these people, like EC3, like Eric Young. I mean, if you didn't really have anything planned for these guys coming in, why did you bother signing them? I don't understand. If you don't have any plans, what are you doing? It was
just to make noise. It was just to take them away from the companies that they were with, because they were drawing, they were making money, they were doing good for those companies. And it just seems like Vince McMahon doesn't want any other professional wrestling besides World Wrestling Entertainment to be out there. So, I mean, that's all I can see for that.
And the only other noteworthy one to bring up briefly is that I've been seeing this pop up all over the place, is that Mr. Bruce Pritchard, Karl, he's getting tired. He's tired.
Well, look at everything that he does. Wouldn't you be tired too?
Look at the segment that's being produced, like these karaoke segments, and this is all pre-tape stuff. Imagine if this guy was having to do live television in that role. There's no chance. I don't think that this guy sees the end of the year in this role here, Karl.
I don't think so either. Honestly, I think
if he can't handle this, he can't handle real weekly television. No chance in hell.
No. It was a very, very bad move to throw him in there. I mean, the guy has done so much already and continues to do so much backstage, and then to pile something else on top of it. I mean, it's just you're overworking the guy. I think that's what it boils down to. And then he's just kind of reliving back into days when, this stuff worked. The pillow matches and the dance offs and like that type of crap that was happening. Like, I mean, that's all I can think of.
Mike, you're bringing up a bit of a good one there. To the best of my knowledge, from what I've seen, he is currently still signed with Ring of Honor. That has not changed.
That's right.
And as we
still
stated,
in a backstage role.
Yep. Marty's definitely somebody that actually has some control there. And as we stated before, AEW, and at least in my personal opinion, would have been a bad mood for him because he would just be that mid comedy guy in the elite. So Ring of Honor is the right place for him when it comes to at least his career for the time being.
Definitely is. Is he not booking?
Yes, I believe
right
so.
Now?
I believe he is.
So I mean, he's
not right at this moment, obviously, because they don't really have any new content coming out. But yeah,
I mean, he's got a good backstage role booking right now, making the money that he needs to, making appearances on TV when he has to. So things are not too bad there.
Yeah. All right, Karl. Do you want to take another brief break and come back with our Showstopper segment, or do you want to go right into the Showstopper this week?
Right into it. Let's go.
Into it. All right. So this one kind of hints at briefly what we were talking before, and we're talking. Then this is something that we've discussed before on this program here. This blood feud between MMA fans and pro wrestling fans, and it definitely is still the case when it comes to this. And I think it really does stand more with the fans than it does with the people actually involved in what's going on. I think that's been a comment there for a long time. I don't think that there's as much hate between the wrestlers and the fighters as it is with the fans, especially in this age of social media. I mean, it's still pretty rabid sometimes. There's some people that it seems to be very split, though. There are people that legitimately like both, or there's people that are decisively on one end and the other one is just garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is still pretty rampant, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, like you alluded to there, the workers and stuff, they're all fine with it. Even the owners and promoters. Like, I don't believe that there's really any beef between, let's say, Vince McMahon.
Don't believe so.
And Dana White, or between Dana White and, the Khan family or anything like that, right? Like, there's no heat between any of them at all.
No.
This is all just
fans,
results from the day and age of the internet.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Keyboard warriors that are going out there and trying to make a feud out of something that there is no feud in. Right? If you like one, you don't have to like the other, but you don't have to express that either. Just enjoy the product that you're watching, whether it's professional wrestling or whether it's MMA.
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking for just 15 minutes of fame? I think that's pretty much what it is with a lot of these people, is that they're just looking for 15 minutes of fame.
To play devil's advocate just a little bit here of where I think there's a bit of an issue, and I can definitely share this sentiment. I've actually expressed it a few times on this program here, that when some of these MMA fighters cross over to professional wrestling, if they don't do it well, and especially if they try and be too MMA, it looks very, very hokey. And I am pointing my finger specifically at Miss Ronda Rousey and Miss Shayna Baszler. When you've seen them do what they do in professional wrestling in a MMA context or vice versa, the professional wrestling version just looks, and I hate to use the word, it looks fake. It looks fake, especially when you see arm bars and stuff like that, where clearly you're moving the arm in the direction that's supposed to be, and it shouldn't hurt. And the other person's, that kind of stuff drives me crazy. And there are some that make it look believable. Like I'd mentioned, Mr. Matt Riddle is very, very good at it. Robbie Lawler, I'm talking Tom Lawler. Robbie Lawler's an MMA guy who hasn't come over. I'm talking Tom Lawler. Some of those guys do it very, very well, and then there are some that don't. And so I can definitely see that side of the argument. But when it comes to just back and forth, I mean, it's all the fans. And there are some, and the biggest one that I see that pops up all the time is MMA fans saying, "Oh, professional wrestlers, they're just jumping around on a trampoline." That's one that always kind of comes up. Oh, the pro wrestling ring, it's just a big trampoline. You have clearly never been or set foot inside of a pro wrestling ring. It is not a trampoline, folks.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no,
and I can speak for that myself.
It's steel and wood. That's what it is.
It's pretty solid.
Steel and wood with a thin little piece of foam in between the wood and the ring apron or the ring mat. Like that's it.
Yep.
Briefly, I want to touch on here the keyboard warrior situation.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to give big props to Cody Rhodes on this, and this is something of a little bit of breaking news, I guess. But somebody's gone on to Twitter, and this is what they wrote, and I'm gonna skew a word that's in here. Just because it's not a word that I like to use here, but it says seriously at Cody Rhodes. This is supposed to compete with WWE now. You having a match with this low class gay man.
Oh,
he's
boy.
a joke.
Oh boy.
It started with a letter F. Okay. He's a joke that I'll never take seriously. He twerks in the ring like a stripper. One of his moves is banging your face into his ass. Really? So this is Cody Rhodes' response to this. This is terrible, and you're not worth the signal boost. But I'll make it clear to fans worldwide. If you have a problem with a gay man receiving a title shot, you can kiss my ass. I'm proud to share the ring with Sonny Kiss.
Wowie.
Again, coming back to these, keyboard warriors that just want their 15 minutes of fame. Well, this person's now got it because we just gave them like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Again, huge props to Cody for the way that he went about this. I mean, he could have gone about it a number of different ways, and I'm super happy that he took the high ground on that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
One last thing before we do wrap it up here, Karl. I'm not sure why this comment didn't appear on our StreamYard chat here, but I'll bring it up. Our friend, Mr. Rick Vickery, or as he calls himself now, Mr. Richard Bronson Vickery. I'm still not used to calling him that. And he's obviously referring to my match of the week here. And I will quote him here. That match was terrible. Well, you know what, Mr. Rick Vickery? Why don't we do this? Next week on Turnbuckle Talk, you come onto the program and you tell me in person why that was so awful.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
There we go.
If
so
Mr. Richard
we'll try and make that
Vickery
happen.
Is okay with that, we will definitely make that happen. As I'm sure he will be because, well, he likes his guys from the north.
Yeah, we might even maybe make that kind of like a showstopper segment, or we'll see what we can do there, and we'll bring Mr. RBV onto Turnbuckle Talk here. I think we're due to have one of our friends on the podcast anyways. So.
Yeah, I will definitely just sit back in this, and I will let the two of you go toe to toe. I will just run the social media aspect of things in the background here. I'll run the background show. And I will definitely let Big Joe and Mr. Richard Bronson Vickery bicker back and forth as to why Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy was or was not a good matchup.
There you go.
I'm so down for that. I'm pumped now. I am looking forward to this.
It'll be good. All right, so that about wraps up, and then we have something to look forward to next week as well. And then hopefully, as always, there's usually a bevy of topics to cover, and I'm sure there will be in the coming weeks. So we'll do that, and like Karl just mentioned, we'll bring Rick on, and we'll have some fun there. Anything else you want to bring up before we call it a show here, Karl?
Definitely, I do. I want to bring up our social media at TB Talk Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our contest that we will be having. If you were here at the beginning of the show, you were able to hear it. If you came in the middle of the show, you're hearing it now. What we're going to be doing is we want the page to grow, our Facebook page at TB Talk Pod. We want it to grow to 500 people. What we need from you is go and share the page. Tell your friends, invite them, whatever you need to do. Send us a message letting us know that you have done that. And I'm going to keep a running tally of all the names that send me a message over our Facebook page. From there, once we hit 500 people, we will live on screen show you the results and who is going to win. And what are they going to win? They're going to win an autographed photo from Jake the Snake Roberts, shipped to them for free. We will cover that cost for you as well. They will get to be a guest host on the show.
That's a pretty sweet deal. If I was a fan listening in, I think I would definitely be in for that. All right, man. I guess we'll wrap it up for this week, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Have a nice day.
It's me. It's an R&B to beat. As you can tell in the background, we are out celebrating. That is what we do here at hittingthemarks.com. And I invite everyone to continue to tune in to Turnbuckle Talk, but check out all of our other shows we have. You can find that all at hittingthemarks.com.
Run.